Hi, my name is Brandon Gray, and I am the product support engineer for SystemLink. And today we're going to be going over the dashboard builder. The dashboard builder is functionality that was added with SystemLink 17.5, and what it does is it allows you to create custom user interfaces and bind them to data that is available on your SystemLink server via the tag viewer. And so to get started, we'll go ahead and open up the dashboard builder from the main SystemLink web app. From here, you'll be able to either open up existing dashboards and edit them or play them, or you can create new ones. And so from here, you see that we have a dashboard called chart versus graph, which is an existing one that I created to show the difference between those two. But for the sake of this demo, we're going to go ahead and create a new one. And so we'll call it demo dashboard. And so once the dashboard loads up, there are a couple different components of the dashboard builder. You've got the palette, the tag browser, the panel, and the property editor. And so the palette is what you'll use to drag elements onto your panel. So depending on what you're wanting to create. And so there's a couple different elements. You have simpler things like just text or number inputs. And then you have kind of more advanced things like drop-down lists, charts, graphs, iframes, images. Next, you have the tag browser, which just loads tags that are on your SystemLink server. And so as you can see, I have 5 tags already in my server. The panel is this middle area where you'll be doing more of your editing and moving around your UI elements. And the first thing you'll notice about the panel is the kind of blue boxes along the top. And so what those blue boxes allow you to do is organize your data depending on the size of the display that is being used to view it. And so if you are anticipating that some of your users will be using mobile devices to view your dashboards, you can kind of specify a mobile layout. And so right now we're looking at the regular 1440 pixel horizontal display. And so if you wanted to change how it was organized for a mobile display, you would just click the mobile. You'll see that the panel kind of slims down to 320 pixels wide, and you can edit your data there. And so last, we'll look at the property editor, which is along the right side. And so this is where you'll be doing a lot more of your data manipulation and customizing the different UI elements that you drop into your panel. And so to kind of just give you an idea of what that looks like, I'll go ahead and drag a chart from my palette over into my panel, and we'll be able to see the properties along the right side. And so it'll list out all the properties. Properties will change depending on the UI element that you're using. And so here we see an X and Y axis properties, which are only really valid for like graphs or charts. But what you'll see for each of the properties also is there's a little box next to all of them. This box allows you to bind those properties to values. And so those values can be taken from tags, or they can also be taken from other UI element properties. And so to kind of give you an example, we'll just use a simple text box output. And so we'll drop one of those down. And what I'm going to do is, let's say I want to fill this text box with a string from my tag viewer. And so the way I would do that is I would go over to the value box and I want to bind it. So I'll click that box. And so what I want to do here is you can kind of start just typing names of your tags. So if I type test, what you'll see is it actually populates it with the 3 tags that start with the test. And so since I am wanting to pull a string out of it, I'll use my test string tag that I've created. And once I've made changes to my dashboard, you'll see in the upper left-hand corner the little star will appear indicating that there are unsaved changes. And so before running my dashboard, I'll click Save, which is this floppy disk right here along the top. And then I'll go over to the cog and hit play. And what you'll see is it actually will pull a string out of my tag and display it in that text output. So another way you can kind of pull values from other areas is you can pull values from other elements, other UI elements. And so here I'm going to grab another text box output. And this time, instead of pulling it from the tag itself, I'm going to pull it from the other text box. And so again, we're going to want to click the box to bind it. And so if I want to pull it out of another element, I can start typing the name of the element. And so I'm working with text output 2 currently, but I want to grab the value of text output 1. And so here it'll start listing out all the properties, but I want specifically the value. So I'll hit enter. It's bound to the value. Again, save my change, go over and hit play. And what we'll see is both of them will actually display that same string. And a couple of last things real quick. One quick way if you're wanting to bind specific indicators to tags is you can actually just grab a tag from the tag browser and drag it. So this second box was actually bound to the first box value, and if I drag the tag over to the box, you'll now see that it's bound to that tag. Another thing is a lot of our UI elements accept strings for their values, and depending on the format of that string, it will display the information. So for instance, like a graph or a tree accepts a string, and so if you're looking to figure out how to provide those elements with their strings to display the data like you want, a great place to start is the SystemLink manual, and so you can get to that by clicking the question mark in the upper right hand corner. And if you go to the data types for visualizing tag data page, it will actually list out all of the controls and indicators and the kind of the data type it's expecting, as well as the format. So for instance, a graph is expecting a JSON array of numbers in the format of a string. So I hope that was useful for kind of getting started with the dashboard builder. I'm going to create another video to go into the more kind of complex use cases of the dashboard builder, like using parameter binding, which is kind of a way to save values from your dashboard into a variable to be used elsewhere in your dashboard. Also, one question that we've gotten a lot is kind of the difference between graphs and charts, and making sure that you understand how to provide the data to each one of those and when to use each one of those. But yeah, I hope this was helpful on getting you started with Dashboard Builder, and thank you for watching.